So you're thinking about moving to San Marcos, California, but you're still trying to learn a little bit more on what San Marcos has to offer and figuring out if it's the right place for you to call home. Well, you're in the right place, and I'm gonna save you a ton of time because I'm gonna give you a very good breakdown on the city of San Marcos, and we're gonna do a few things, but I'm gonna start by pulling up the maps and walk you guys through some of these locations in San Marcos and give you a better idea of some of the proximities to places like shopping centers, the beach, some of the schools, and just some of the points of interest here in San Marcos. And then after that, I'll pull up some of the census data and we'll walk through that. And then finally, we'll bring up some of the real estate and give you guys a better idea of what it costs to own maybe a condo or a single family home here in San Marcos. And overall, San Marcos is an awesome place, whether you're trying to retire or you're trying to raise a family. The schools are great, the weather's awesome, and the price point is still very, very good. So let's get after it now. Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. If this is your first time here and you like to know more about what it's like to live in San Diego or some of the other surrounding cities like San Marcos, make sure you tap that subscribe button below. I love making these videos because I know it's saving you guys a ton of time and helping you come up with a better idea of what it's like to live in some of these cities and help you make a better decision when you come move here. So if you guys are thinking about making a move here in a week, a month, or a year, make sure you reach out because I'd be happy just to guide you in the right direction and save you guys a lot of time. But let's jump into the maps now. Right, so here we go. I have the maps pulled up, as you can see, and just for scale, here's San Marcos all the way up here in North County, San Diego. And so you know, here's downtown, right in this little zone. This is going to be where the airport's at. And then anything south of Chula Vista and Imperial Beach, you're going to start to head towards Tijuana or Mexico. And then as you pass Oceanside, now you're heading into Orange County. So you got some good proximity here, and if you're going to be commuting and have to head either downtown or you're going to be taking a flight every now and then, your only international airport is going to be right here in downtown San Diego. So this is going to take you, if you're leaving San Marcos, you're going to hop on the 15 and you're going to head south to the 163 and boom, now you're there. It's about a 40-mile drive, so you can expect anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour depending on traffic. If there's no traffic, you can probably get down there in 35 to 40 minutes. So it's great, but it depends on what time you have to be there. So I want to show you guys too while I'm kind of zoomed out. You have a couple neighbors when you're in San Marcos. You're going to have Vista is actually pretty decent size. It's probably going to be right here. And then over here, you're going to have Escondido. Just south, you're going to start to head into like Rancho Santa Fe. And then right in this zone, Encinitas, and then this is all going to be Carlsbad. So look, I almost drew a nice little pretty flower right here. This is going to be parts of Escondido as well. So we got a nice little flower right there. So that's some of your neighbors and what you can expect there. But let's dive a little bit more into San Marcos. And keep in mind, San Marcos only has a population of about 100,000 people. So it's honestly, it seems a lot bigger when I think about San Marcos and all that it has. But it's pretty surprising that the population's a little over 100,000 people. And the nice thing about San Marcos is you have a lot of newer construction. You have some bigger master planned communities, but most of these homes here are going to be built 2000 and newer. Of course, you're going to have some older homes that were built in the 50s and 60s that, you know, are either original or that are completely renovated and beautiful, or maybe they've just knocked them down and built a brand new custom home. So that's the beauty of San Marcos. You have some really good schools in here too, and the price point is really, really fair, especially considering you get those really good schools. So here's a good look at what San Marcos has to offer, and let's dive in. I'm not going to go too much into neighborhoods. I actually have another video that explains some of the top neighborhoods in San Marcos, so I go way more into detail and actually drive around the neighborhoods and show you guys some footage. So make sure you check that one out if you're actually considering a move to San Marcos. It'll be really helpful, and of course, give me a call if you're thinking about making a move here, because I'd love to make it as smooth as possible. But here's San Marcos, and there is two big schools here actually. So right here you're going to have Palomar College, which is actually a very big city college, and it's actually huge when I think about it. They put a lot of money into that campus, and it's it's actually a really gorgeous campus. But people from all over San Diego commute and go to Palomar College. They come from Riverside, some people from Orange County. It just depends on what people are studying. But Palomar College is going to be right there. And then let me delete that. Let's zoom in over here because you're going to have another big one. So you can see the bookstores right here. So Cal State University San Marcos. Now, this is a very well-known college, and what's nice about it too is the price point to go to school here is very affordable. So you have a lot of students going here, and same thing, commuting from other cities. When I think of a college town, San Marcos is not much of a college town. It has a good amount of stuff to do, but it's not like a very college feel there where there's parties all the time and stuff like that. So if you live there with a family, you're not going to have to worry about that. All that stuff is going to be happening in the dorms, which is going to be over here. And of course, you're going to have students, scattered throughout in some of these areas. So that's just something to know. But what's cool about San Marcos is it's actually broken up into just a couple zip codes too. You have 92078 and you have 92069. So 92069 is going to basically be this area. 92078 is a big zip code, and it's going to be, sorry, I might have went too big on that. That's going to be 92078 for the most part. So you got a couple high schools here. You have San Marcos High School, which is going to be right over here, actually. So San Marcos High School, and then your other big high school is going to be right over here near Hollandia Park. And you're going to have Mission Hills right here. So two big high schools, both have great academics and great sports. So, if you have kids or you're planning on having kids, San Marcos might be good for that reason. And a lot of parks too, which is kind of cool. But some of your main shopping that you're going to be doing, there's actually a lot of retail here, which makes it very convenient. And not only that, you're so close to Carlsbad, Encinitas, Escondido, Vista. All these places have a ton of shopping, ton of parks, and just a lot of stuff to do, which is really nice. You don't have to go too far. And to show you guys, if you're going to go to if you live somewhere in San Marcos, let's say you hop on the 78 and you start heading to the beach, this is only going to be about a 20-minute drive. So it's really close if you want to go have a quick beach day, and you'll save some money too because the prices are a little bit more affordable over here in San Marcos. But let's go back to some of these shopping centers. You have Discovery Lake, you have Lake San Marcos, which is an awesome community. Santa Leo's down here. I covered these in that video I was talking about. But you also have a lot of, let's go over here because you're going to have a lot of stuff over here. You got Chipotle, In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, you have a Winco. So you have a lot of retail. There's even more retail here. Really good coffee at Better Buzz. And then right here, let me get rid of that. Right over here, you're going to have Restaurant Row, which you have a very large amount of restaurants over here. It's kind of like a strip mall kind of vibe. And you have Regal Theaters if you want to go see a movie. But there's some talk that this has been bought. This whole area of Restaurant Row has been bought. And I heard this a couple years ago, and they're going to redevelop it, and it's going to be very mixed-use commercial with some more living space and things like that. So there's going to be a lot of money put into San Marcos in the coming years. So it's a great thing to know about and get in there hopefully before that happens. Over here, you have the Las Posas Center, which is a huge shopping center as well. You got a Sprouts in there. You got a Nordstrom Rack. You have some fast food. You have some good ice cream. I mean, you have a ton in there. And I could honestly go on and on about that, but I'll try to keep it short. You have more shopping right in this zone. And then let me see, let's zoom out a little bit. So that's going to be everything that's kind of south of the 78. And then as you go up here, it gets a little bit more, not rural, but some of these parts, like over here is there's a lot of, so here's Palomar College. This is going to be Borden, and this is going to be a lot of residential back here. But San Marcos in general just has a lot of residential neighborhoods, but it also has a lot of that shopping and plazas. You have a golf course up here. You have Twin Oaks Golf Course, which is actually a really fun golf course. And then as you can actually take, this is Deer Springs, this road right here. This is actually a nice little hack if you want to go and miss a lot of traffic. This will connect you. It's really pretty drive too. It's very rural back here, but if traffic gets bad, tends to get bad right in this zone. And if you're heading north and at this junction right here when you start to head west. So this can get pretty backed up during those heavy commute times. But if you need to head north, this is a nice little cheat. If you're going to go up to Riverside, you can hit Deer Springs and then start to head north right there. So traffic, like I said, is going to be, in this zone, and it's usually pretty clear unless there's like an accident or something. It's usually pretty clear over here, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But San Marcos is a place that you really, you can kind of do everything you need to do there. You have parks, you have lake amenities right here, so you can, I wouldn't swim in Lake San Marcos, but it's a place where you can go stand up paddleboard. You can go fishing, some really good fishing in there. And right down the road from San Marcos, you're going to start to head into Carlsbad, which you have Bressie Ranch, and you have a whole bunch of other stuff, which I also do videos on too to help give you guys a better idea and familiarize you guys with just some of these areas and what you can kind of expect. But let's talk a little bit about this census data. Okay, so here we are. We're on niche.com. This is where I really like to pull most of my data and look at some of these towns. I highly suggest it too, because you can find some very straightforward information on here. It rates the schools, it rates the housing, family diversity, nightlife, crime and safety. It rates all of that. So that's awesome. But as you can see right here, looks like it's number 9. San Marcos is rated number 9 for the best suburbs to raise a family here in San Diego. And I completely agree with that. And I'm surprised it's not higher on the list, because those schools are great and there's not much crime over here, which is good. And I actually just read an article not too long ago saying that the homelessness, and it's a pretty big problem here in San Diego, especially downtown, coastal areas. You'll see quite a bit of unsheltered people, but San Marcos has one of the lowest crime rates and homelessness population in San Diego County. So that's great. But let's dive into this. As you can see, housing's a D. And that's probably because it's just a cost of living thing. Everything's, cost of living, housing, it's got a D. It's going to be like that anywhere you look in San Diego. The affordability is just, it's tough here. Everybody wants to be here. But besides that, you can see public schools are rated great. Outdoor activities, that's huge. San Marcos has a ton of trails and a lot of cool things like that, so you don't have to go too far. Nightlife, it's got a B+. There is a lot of restaurants there, which is cool. But you're not going to find like clubs and stuff like that. You're going to be going more towards the coast or downtown if you want that stuff. And let's see. So it says San Marcos has a population of 96,000. I don't know how old this is, but it seems like it's probably more than that now. Restaurants, coffee shops, parks, ton of that. Ton of young professionals. I do agree with that. But let's go down. And I'm going to cover this in a separate section because this is not right. That the median home value is not $585. I wish it was. That would be amazing. Median rent is $1,800. That sounds about right. I would say a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom is going to cost you anywhere from $1,800 to, well, 1-bedroom is going to cost you anywhere $1,800 and up, and then a 2-bedroom you're going to be looking at $2,200 and up. So that's that. Rent to own ratio is very good here. 63% about own a home, while 30% rent. So that's good because obviously the more owners you have living in the neighborhood, the more well kept and the more they care about it. So let's go down a little bit more. Here's some rankings. Number 65 out of 524, number 129. So they're pretty high up on rankings. We went over crime and safety. What else do we have here? The median house, this is the last thing I'll cover right here. Median household income is about $86,000, which is great. That's a lot higher than a lot of other cities in San Diego. But now let's go jump into the real estate. Okay, so now let's dive into the real estate market in San Marcos. And you got to keep in mind that every market is different, no matter if you're looking in Oceanside, Escondido, downtown San Diego, Rancho Santa Fe. They all have different factors that key in to the appreciation and what makes these cities, valuable. So you got to keep that stuff in mind. But first off, you can see right here that the median sales price, this is back in June of 2022, is $970,000, which in my opinion, that's there's a lot of value here in San Marcos, so I think the prices are just going to keep driving up. And there's a couple things that really play into it, such as like new developments popping up, and a huge driver are the schools. I mean, you can see right here 9, 8, 8, 8. So schools have a ton of stuff to do with it. So you got to keep that in mind. But let's look at right here. I was able to pull up a map, and you can find anything from a condo for $400,000 all the way up to a multi-million-dollar beautiful estate with views. So San Marcos has a little bit of everything, and we're in such a good location that we're close to the beach, we're close to downtown San Diego, you're close to LA. So it's a great place to call home, and that's why so many people are coming down here. But just so you know, I pulled up a smaller criteria just so it wasn't flooded with a bunch of listings right here. But we have everything from $600,000 all the way up to $1.5 million, single families and condos. So you can see there's about 118 currently active, and just being zoomed out, you can kind of see prices are all over the place. You can find right here, this is a single family home for $685,000. I mean, that's awesome. You can't find that much, and you have a very good school district right there. $900,000, you have $648,000. Prices will generally be a little bit more friendly and affordable up in 92069. 92078, you have better amenities in my opinion, and you're closer to the beach and you have some better schools over there. But let's dive into this because I can show you this all day. I'm very familiar with the prices all over San Diego, but it's really important, and I tell my clients this all the time, that you need to learn where, what prices are in certain neighborhoods so you have a better idea of the markets and what you can actually afford comfortably. But as you can see, Lake San Marcos, you got 1 million. This is, let's see what this is. 1 million for a single family home. This was a single family for 685. You have 781 as you get closer to Carlsbad. This is probably going to be a condo. You have a condo right there, 739. So you can kind of see 740. So your average condo in San Marcos is going to be about $700,000 to $800,000. So you can get away with a nice condo. And then if you're looking for a single family home, depends where you're at, but 750 and above. You can find some really nice new construction in places like Santa Leo Hills right here, which has pretty much everything you could need. And these are newer homes, and you can find anything from, you can find a townhome in there for about 700, but you can also find a beautiful home, large home with views for well over 2 million. So it's really going to depend on what you can afford. But I did do I did another video diving into some of these neighborhoods, and I actually got some really good video footage that I posted, and it's something you should check out because I think it'll really help you come up with a decision on where to go. But keep in mind, if you're moving here, feel free to reach out to me because I'll save you a ton of time. But this is just to familiarize yourself with the prices. You can kind of see that it is affordable and it is doable. So anyways, I hope this information was super, informative, and it was able to give you a better idea if San Marcos is a good place for you, or maybe it's not. But either way, if you guys have a question about San Marcos or any of the other surrounding areas, shoot me a text, email, call, whatever works best for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.